For more than 30 years, Dos and Bertie Winkel have traveled to the remotest corners of the globe to photograph its local cultures and wildlife. Their daughter Femke joins them on this journey, a keen apprentice, eager to learn the tricks of the trade. On this assignment into Peru's rugged interior, the team are looking to capture the many faces of this vast country and are asking how the indigenous people are coping with increasing pressures on them to reject their ancient traditions and integrate in mainstream Peruvian society. Children of the Isea tribe, in a small jungle village in the Peruvian Amazon, on the border with Bolivia. Not always the easiest, but a very rewarding subject for the patient photographer. Until just a short time ago, these people lived out of contact with other cultures. Even the Inca and the Spanish conquistadors never succeeded in breaking into their world. Today, however, for better or for worse, after centuries of isolation, Western technology and mass culture is sneaking in. The Isea are just one of over 50 distinct ethnic groups peopling the Peruvian Amazon, looking to find a balance between their ancient customs and the rapidly infiltrating modern world.
After 2 months of exploring the remotest corners of Peru, I continue to be amazed by the enormous diversity of this country. Not only landscapes and wildlife, but also the people.
Peru is a country divided by nature. The vast tropical jungle interior is separated from the desert coast by the high Sierra. This Andes mountain range has always been the major barrier for both nature and civilizations. Even today, very few roads make it through these snow-covered peaks. The team arrives in Cusco, the capital of the once mighty Inca. From here they ruled an empire that stretched from Chile to Ecuador. In Cusco's ancient streets, The effects of the centuries-old cultural mix is clear to see. Here the conquering Spanish built their monuments directly on the massive stone foundations crafted by the Inca. The team ventures into the Urubamba Valley, known popularly as the Sacred Valley. The mild climate and fertile soil made this the breadbasket at the heart of the Inca Empire. Daily life has changed little today. Every village has its own distinctive traditions, reflected most obviously in the way people dress, and representing a mix of all the cultural influences ever felt in the region. Here Spanish-style hats are combined with traditional quechua embroidery.
Dat probleem had ik net ook. Ja. Tschka, tschka.
Near Miras, another impressive example of Inca ingenuity. Here, using methods which have changed little in centuries, salt is being extracted from these hills. In the mountain village of Pichingoto, the team is invited into people's homes. Old traditions are very much alive here. This man proudly shows off the skulls of his ancestors. Their protective gaze still brings comfort to the family. Cusco makes an ideal staging point for Dos and his family. It gives them a chance to restock with fresh provisions and make the final preparations for their visit to the steaming rainforests of the Amazonian lowlands. Dos is anxious to get going on the long drive down to the tropical homeland of the indigenous Machigenga people. A people whose jungle home has kept them isolated from outside influences, even those of the Inca.
I saw beautiful flowers here. What do you call those?
The flowers?
Yeah.
Now it's called retama.
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 Okay. We have something. We set off for the Amazonian lowlands, in particular the Manu National Park, considered one of the last remaining truly pristine tropical rainforests in the world. Here we are on the edge of one of the greatest rainforest regions on Earth. Behind these hills extends the vast jungles of the Manu National Park. As we are still at some altitude, this is cloud forest, a distinct habitat with its own plants and animals.
Pilcopata is a lone outpost on the edge of Manu, and the last place with running water and electricity. Unfortunately, a four-wheel drive vehicle with which to go further is hard to come by. One thing they have plenty of is disused trucks left over from a misguided aid project. Dos finally goes to the local hospital to find out if they have a spare vehicle to carry the luggage and equipment.
So you're driving the ambulance here? Do you think it's possible to talk to the doctor here?
Attention, attention. This is the only way to reach your area with our luggage. In the ambulance. Great news.
I promise to bring it back in a couple of hours. Meanwhile, Femke is getting advice on the best way of getting to the community we want to visit, Huacarria.
The ambulance is the only vehicle available here. It's just big enough to carry the luggage, but the team, along with the guides and porters, will have to go in on foot. To transport the photographic equipment, they charter the only remaining wheeled vehicle in Pilkopata. The hike through the rainforest offers Dos a welcome opportunity for photography.
After about 4 hours we meet the first villagers and we are immediately introduced to the most important man in the community. Alberto turns out to be the chief and shaman at the same time.
Yes, and he's studying.
So we're colleagues actually.
Yes.
Shona joins us as our interpreter and guide.
Visit this garden and then.
Although initially our introduction looks a little bit formal, soon we find out that these are very friendly people with a good sense of humor.
Do you have to be very experienced to use these arrows?
These expert bow and arrow hunters now want to test our skills.
Holy, good morning. How do you do it at your age?
Holy.
Lo sueltas, dile que suelte la pita. Suelta la pita. Suelta la pita. Ay. Ay, que le suelte.
Trek en in één keer loslaten.
Okay.
Eu sou mulher, não?
Dat is mijn!
Alberto shows Dos around the village. He explains that 26 families live here in Huacarria, 120 people in all, drawn from 3 tribes, the Huachipari, the Machugenga and the Quechua. Traditionally, these tribes would not have lived in one village.
That's your mother.
That's mi mamá.
But this community was formed to see if, together, they're able to develop a lifestyle balanced between traditional and modern, that's sustainable in the modern world. The community supports itself through hunting, agriculture, and collecting medicinal plants.
The village is also seeking additional income by looking to develop ecotourism. Travelers are invited to stay with them and learn their ways. At first glance, the forest looks deserted, but in fact there's a fierce ongoing war of survival going on here. Each organism is competing for vital food and space. At the same time, they have to avoid being eaten by cunning predators. Plants are perhaps the best example of this double personality. Although they don't appear to move, they battle for each centimeter of earth in search of soil and light. They've developed powerful chemical defenses to avoid being eaten. But their enemies, in turn, have just as powerful antidotes and tools to combat them. These leafcutter ants live in a colony numbering in the thousands. Separated by size into different castes, each has a specialized task to perform. Foraging ants search for the right type of leaf, then lay a trail of chemical markers pointing the way for the cutting brigade. Guarded by the soldier ants, the foragers then carry the leaf segments back to the nest, where they're used to feed the fungal gardens.
Ya, y vamos a tumbar ahora para...
Over the centuries, the Machigenga have developed an intimate knowledge of the forest by carefully observing nature and trying to understand its processes. They have adapted so well to the forest that they've been able to live here for thousands of years without exhausting its resources.
Te va a morder.
He's getting the fruit out of the tree quickly there.
Through respect for life in all its forms, the Machigenga have learnt to use the treasure of plants and animals of this forest for all kinds of purposes. The team join Alberto on a plant collecting mission. One of the first plants he shows them is growing on a so-called walking tree. This small plant with star-shaped leaves is used by women as a contraceptive.
Planificación familiar o anticonceptivo. Pico.
Okay.
These roots are used against snake bites.
Yeah, you grain it and then you...
Emplasto.
But the main goal of the trip today is to collect the 8 ingredients of a mysterious potion named ayahuasca, which Alberto uses to get into a trance for shamanistic rituals.
Maybe Alberto sees me as a medical colleague because he takes me across the river to a secret place where 3 of the most important ingredients can be found.
Totally full of medical plants. Over 150 species.
The leaves of this yerba de Isanga have all kinds of patterns that during the trance become animals and ghosts whose meaning only the shaman can interpret.
So that your dreams have more figures.
And this is to mix with ayahuasca.
This is yerba de arco iris, which causes hallucinations, but at the same time prevents you from becoming addicted. We also collect some herbs for the doctor in Pilcopata. And on our way back, we collect the last ingredient, coca leaves.
They don't call this rainforest for nothing. It rains here virtually every day, which over a year adds up to more than 1.5 meters of rain, providing ideal conditions for a morning wash.
After that refreshing start, it's time to go to school. Today, Alberto has secrets to tell.
He's planning to teach the children how to prepare a medicine that is good against intestinal parasites, a common problem in the village.
The plant he uses is called havas havas, which he chops, pounds, and after adding boiled water, is squeezed through a cloth.
En esta forma se prepara habas habas, sea para alcohólico o para... Toma, Genoveva.
After seeing the reactions of the kids, I'm a little apprehensive, but here it goes. It's very bitter. And it gives me a strange hot feeling in my stomach. For Alberto, who wants to keep the old traditions alive, this is a unique way of getting his knowledge over to the youngest members of the community. That evening, Alberto, whose Machikenga name we discover is Dari Huarepa, explains to us in detail how to make the ayahuasca potion.
So, and how much does it need from this?
The preparation is a ritual in itself. Even the precise placement of these coca leaves has a significance. I begin to see a transformation in this man, who looked so ordinary when we first met him, but is now radiating a mystical power, the power of the shaman.
As the full moon rises, Alberto begins the ayahuasca ritual. The shaman is the mediator between the human and the spirit world. He needs to plead the case of the humans with the spirits. By going into a trance, he liberates himself from earthly ties to the point where he can sense the breath of the spirits. By entering their world, he gets the power to sort out problems in daily life. Every month, Alberto repeats this ritual, ensuring the balance of his community.
I admire this man who is walking a tightrope between two cultures.
The experiment being carried out here at Huacaria offers hope for the future of forests like the Manu. By finding a sustainable balance between the old ways and the new, a new generation is being given a chance to look for the best in both worlds.